I think one Stephen Hawking.
Okay, fine. But
I
Stephen
really like him.
Hawking's like go for his attributes, his values, which you feel like
Yes,
can
sir.
be
Even he is disabled. Even he is disabled.
right.
He made this. He made his name in this world, sir.
Fine.
He made
That
his
can
name.
be like for achieving what he was. He has gone through several tests and tasks. Okay, find out the same
Yes.
and what needs to be inculcated from your side in order to become the same. Not like Stephen Hawking's. I am saying like the good aspects of his personality. You can take that and put into your planning strategies for civil service, which can make you a great civil servant as well, right? Okay, so
Yes.
again, we welcome you to our team. Wish you all the best.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, now Harisha.
Yes, sir.
Harisha, yeah,
Yes, sir. Sir, I have some connection problems, so I didn't hear.
yeah, we can hear you still. It's going on. Yeah, പറഞ്ഞോളൂ
In the,
Harisha.
um, my name is Harisha, and I'm currently studying 11th standard. My subject is humanities, and then what's I didn't hear what your question is.
Which, sorry.
I didn't hear my connection problem. There are some.
What really motivated you to join civil services?
Yeah,
Okay,
I was just interested in social studies since I was 6th or 7th standard, and I've taken humanities. That the main job, say that humanities for civil service.
okay. Now, how
Yeah,
would you achieve your goal?
just keeping hard working or smart work.
Hard work and smart work. Like, yeah, but when civil service comes into picture, this has to be really focused. What we say
Yeah,
by hard work and what we say by smart work. That is why we have the first class for our syllabus. Understand the same, then understand your like what we say current affairs part, and then we'll put you into exercises just to see how you are inferring about the syllabus, how you are understanding the things, and if you have any doubts regarding the same, please do get back to us. Okay, yeah, again we welcome you to the team as well. Thank you. Now Meghana Unni.
Hi, sir. My name is Meghna,
Yeah.
and I'm currently doing my +1.
Yeah.
See, I was in Shabri Central School, Cherpalishiri. Now I have transferred to Chundamata High School.
Yeah.
And see, I want to serve my people. I want to serve my nation, and I want to show them what I can do.
Okay.
So for that, I think the best option is taking an IAS.
Okay.
Then my motivation is always my parents, especially my father.
Okay.
He's the greatest motivation for me.
Right.
Then I think through my hard work, I have great support from my family, and with their support and with the support from the coaching classes and all, I can achieve my dream.
Great to know that. But of course, like when you say your role models, your parents, of course, till your childhood days, they can be the greatest motivating factor for you. But I would insist all you guys to go for one more personality who fits, who you feel like some of his attributes can be taken while you are preparing for civil service, and that can really help you out. Okay, just find out one more role model as well. Then I was focusing on something. The last two words which you said, can you repeat the same? Last
What?
two things which you said, like yeah, serving the nation, right? Many of you guys said like serving the nation, serving the society. Like, let me ask you, when you become a doctor, when you become an engineer, right, when you become a teacher, when you become a scientist, also you're serving the nation. So how it is different while you are like working as a civil service officer then?
Sir, if you are so, sir, I think as becoming a collector, we can go through their each and everyone's problems. We can understand their problems and try to try to correct it in our side, from our side.
Okay,
So
but say like if I'm a doctor, I'm hearing to a patient, Yeah, the patient says about a lot of problems from his side. Again, I need to find a solution for the same and give him a medicine, right? Then again, I am serving the same person. Now, how it is different when you are coming as a civil service officer over there?
Sir, if you
This can be
also.
a question where you maybe like if you enter, you're fortunate enough to go to the interview board, these questions are simultaneously asked. There was a, just note down a personality called Beena IAS. She was a doctor. Okay, you know ADGP Vijayan sir as well. ADGP Vijayan sir, who introduced student cadet police system in the state of Kerala. You are known to him, ADGP Vijayan sir. He is the husband of Dr. Beena IAS. Okay. So, like, she was asked the same question. You have Roman Saini, the founder of an academy, who was a doctor, who reached civil service at the age of almost 23. Again, he dropped out from the civil service and he became a founder of an academy right now. Okay. So, various role models are there in front of you. Their answers were unique, right? If you are a doctor, you are like seeing few of the persons and solving their problems. But when you become a collector, you have a larger periphery there. You meet different kinds of persons, understand their emotions, right? As a collector, what you can do for them, you are doing it for them. But again, you have government constraints over there. Again, with all these restrictions and constraints, you are emotionally very balanced. You know which all the persons are saying the true things and who are bullying it out. Okay, we need to understand them, categorize them, and find a solution for the same. But when it comes to a doctor and other guys, they find a solution only for some category of things. But when you become a collector, you are an all-rounder there, right? So if a disaster comes, if an administrative faults come, if a law and administration problem comes, again as a collector, you need to find a solution for the same. You cannot ask any other person to find a solution for you, even though you are not a doctor, even though if if you are not an engineer. Again, many things should come into your mind, and you must be finding a solution. That is what makes you unique from all the other services taken together. And say a doctor and other guys, they can be removed through all India Medical Science and their boards, right? But when it comes to a civil service officer, they can be removed from the post only by an inquiry committee done by the parliament, then through the home ministry, and then the president can formally remove him from the post, and you can reach up to the principal secretary status. That is a very highest rank next to the PM office. Okay, that is what makes you unique. But in order to reach to that position, you need to cultivate certain personality traits, and you need to really become a hard-born person, so that you all of the other persons who are seeing you, they must be seeing you as a role model on how to tackle all the problems simultaneously and how to move along on a day-to-day basis, how to be really strong enough in dealing all the things. That is why they are looking for you as a collector over there. Yeah, not because of that post and three letters over there. They are really seeing it out. Okay, there is that is where we need to be really unique from all other services which are there in front of you, right? And of course, one more thing is, like, when you become a collector, like if one collector is not governing one single department. Okay, if you go just see some biographies of Anupama IAS, Prashant IAS, okay, Hari Kishore, various collectors who are there in front of you, Sriram Venkatraman. All those collectors are actually, say, handling 18 to 20 departments simultaneously. And what you get as a salary is not for your service right now. Okay, you are sacrificing that for your nation, right? And you're working 24 hours daily. You can't be saying that I would be working only for 9 to 10 hours. Okay, that is not there. Again, you are seeing to the problems of the common people. But again, uh, you have to uh, say see the problems of your parents as well. You don't have the time right now, but after all this, you should be finding a time enough to look after your parents as well. So first is your nation, then is your society, then comes your own problems. That is why collector's role is unique. You are not an army man, still you are on a battlefield where you are obsessed with all your duties, and you have to maintain the equilibrium between all these three sides and take your profession together. Yeah, And of course, politics plays a lot of part in civil services. You have that suppression, you would have a lot of obstructions, but again, within your periphery, what is your power? You have to understand that you should not be corrupted. You should be a really ethical person when you become a collector, and then show it out to the people what a collector can also do simultaneously with all the political constraints as well. That is where you make yourselves unique, right? So I hope like I made it clear. Yeah. So this is the first thing. Now let's there's a PPT which is available, but if I'm like opening up a PPT, that would be like you would be looking onto that PPT right now, and then say your concentration levels would be constrained, and like when I am speaking it out, maybe your answers won't be coming up. So can I make it a session where I would be talking out, and later on in this WhatsApp group itself, I would be sharing the PPT which I made. Is it fine? Is it fine, or PPT is what you want? Can I go with face-to-face interaction with you guys? Is that enough? Yeah, this is an interactive session, of course. Like I would like you guys also to speak out. It's not a one-way traffic which where I alone would be speaking out. I need some answers to be coming up from your side as well. Okay, I would not choose out a person who should be answering my question. You can simultaneously, any of you guys who know the answer can speak it out, right? So uh, now I'm moving to the main area of orientation. Okay, so like if you're constructing a house, right, what is the first thing which you should be doing over there? If you're constructing a house, like again, അതിലും ഒരുപാട് ഡൗട്ട് ഉണ്ടെങ്കിൽ again I am asking you one more question. Before you reach out to 10th level, right, you have to go with first standard, second standard, third standard, fourth standard, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, till ninth, and you reach up to 10th, right? So you should be knowing about the basics of all the subjects. Then at the 10th level, you are really tested on how you have gone through all the phases of ninth standard and how much knowledge you have about all the subjects taken together simultaneously. When you are preparing for a very competitive exam like civil service, okay, we need to know the inputs and outputs, and how like when you're preparing for this examination, what you need to really understand is about the updation which has happened in UPSC syllabus. Okay, preparation level strategies of different winners. Okay, how to go about by the same, and how to go with us like smart and hard work strategy combined together. All these things come into picture. But before starting anything, we need to know about the base. That is why we have an orientation class right now. Okay, so the first thing which I would like to ask you guys is like when it comes to civil services, who is the unique body which conducts this examination? You have UPSC civil service, prelims, mains, and interview. Okay, but who is the body, governing body, which conducts this examination? You need to know each and every bit so that you are really motivated and you have a thorough understanding regarding the same, which is the body. പറഞ്ഞോളൂ, അറിയാത്തവരുണ്ടെന്ന് എനിക്ക് തോന്നുന്നില്ല. ദിസ് ഇസ് UPSC, Union Public Service Commission. Okay, just note it down. The body which conducts this examination every year is Union Public Service Commission. Okay, its base is in Delhi. Okay, if you are writing a state-led examination, you actually have Public Service Commission examination, that is PSC, right? But when it is of all India service, that is civil service. Okay, it is an all India service. So actually the body which should be doing that is UPSC and not PSC. Okay, so that is why you have a governing body called Union Public Service Commission who conducts this examination. Okay, so that is the first thing. And every year, say in the month of March, the official notification. Okay, in the month of March, an official notification comes in upsc.gov.in. Okay. If I need to just put it out in chat box, I can do the same. Okay, official notification. Okay, now you have almost 2 months time available for you to apply online. Okay, this is, say, notification comes through upsc.gov.in, but where you apply is upsc.nic.in. Okay, if you are really writing out this examination, if you know that beforehand, then it is going to be really useful for you. That is why I'm discussing the same right now. Okay, upsc.nic.in. This is the portal where you go in directly and fill the three layered pages are there, where first layer, of course, you write your date of birth and your say like year registration like number would be given, registration number and date of birth. Then your email ID, your mobile number, everything would be verified. Then when you fill the same second page, when you go in, other details are there, but your registration number and your mobile number and date of birth is required in order to go to the second page. Then third page comes in where you upload your photographs, then your signature. Okay, and officially when all this has to be everything is done, then you click a submit button and you can preview all that which you have filled in and then submit it, and you get an official SMS via your through to your mobile number and to your like email ID. This is what UPSC does. Okay, it's a 3-layer system, and you have hardly say 10 to 15 minutes time to fill all these things, because every 1 or 2 seconds a new aspirant comes comes through this link and tries to fill his form. Okay, because the number of aspirants regarding the same examination is too high. Okay, so this is the first thing which I want to say. Every year in the month of March a notification comes in. There is a gap of 2 months in order to fill the same. Okay, and in that form itself you can mention your preference. That is, if you are a science guy, you can go for IAS and IFS together, Indian Forest Service and Indian Administrative Service together. But when you are only a science graduate, okay, say if not, then you can only prefer one, that is IAS, IPS. Okay, one among the three, and then foreign service as well. Okay, once you have made that, you cannot change it in any course of time. That is done, said and done. And then in the second page you mention about your optional subjects. When you're writing your mains descriptive type paper, you have to mention one optional subject that you're going to take for your mains examination. There again you have to mention one optional subject which you cannot change at any course of time. Then say your examination centers, where if you are writing the examination in your state, then you have 3 areas. That is, one is Ernakulam, one is Trivandrum, one is Kozhikode. Okay, these are the only 3 centers available for your prelims examination. Okay, then if you are going to write the mains in your own state, then only Trivandrum center is available. Okay, clear? Then when you again write your GS papers, that is general essay, GS1, GS2, GS3, GS4, and your optional subjects taken together, it is 9 subjects taken all together. Again, when you are writing the same, you would be again asked by UPSC, in which medium are you going to write this examination. You have 2 options, one is Hindi and English. Again when you give that English, then you can't change it at any cost of time. That is fixed. Okay. Then your qualifying paper again would be asked. If you are from a state of Kerala, you can you have a qualifying paper of your language, that is Malayalam, Tamil, Kannada, respectively 26 official languages are there. You need to choose one among the same, and then an English qualifying paper that I will discuss in the second half. Okay, there again, if you mention the same, you can't change it. That is the main area where we need to focus. Okay, then if you can write this examination when you attain the age of 21, or if you are a final year graduate student, you can appear for the same. Okay, so all these things again I am discussing in detail, but for the time being I'm just saying it out to you. Okay, so once this is done, which I told you earlier, at the last stage you are just uploading your Aadhaar card. Okay, one personal identification document which you have submitted. Then second is your signature, which you need to put it in a white paper, with a white in a white paper with a white background, and you put your signature in black ink. Okay, then your photograph, the KB, the size of the same would be mentioned by UPSC. Once it is not in that size, then it would not be taken into consideration. Okay, once you fill all these things, then you get an SMS and an email from UPSC side. Okay, saying that your application has been taken in. Okay, understood the same. Now, how many candidates apply for civil service every year? Just to know how competitive this examination is. How many? Have a rough say, like just guess it out, how much it can be, because it's an all India service. So all the states in India, how many states do we have in India right now? Harisha, how many states do we have in India right now? Anyone can answer.
29.
Etra?
29.
29. Just can you put it in chat box?
Sir, chat is disabled.
Chat is disabled. No, of course. Is there? From
It's
your
still
side,
disabled, sir.
just find out. Is it 29? Is it 31? Okay, or more than that.
There are 29 states and 7 union territories.
Okay, then what is the issue with Jammu and Kashmir, Ladakh then? Is it still a union territory?
No, sir.
Just find out. Okay, the latest one. Regarding
Okay.
Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh.
Okay, sir.
Okay, what has happened with them? Okay, and you need to just update me on the same. Okay, now when it comes, last when it was Telangana, it was almost 29, as you said. Then, of course, all the states candidates are of an interest to apply for UPSC Civil Service preliminary examination. So how much can be that number? എത്ര പേര് അപ്ലൈ ചെയ്യാൻ സാധ്യതയുണ്ടാവും ഒരു വർഷം?
32,000.
No, that is really low. It comes in lakhs. A wild guess?
3 lakh?
Yeah,
3 lakh?
3 lakh. It's really low. It's more than that. Say on an
So
average.
10 lakh.
yeah, 10 lakh on an average. Then more than that, of course, 30 lakh candidates. From the latest stats, what we get is almost 30 lakh candidates from India apply simultaneously for UPSC civil service prelims. Okay, just to understand how competitive this examination is. Okay, but when you say 30 lakh, do all the persons write this examination on, say, June 27th is the date on which we are going to have prelims this year? Okay, is on the same date, can you find 10 lakh candidates or 30 lakh candidates coming to the hall and writing this examination? Not due to COVID, I'm not mentioning the same, but again, if it is not COVID, then again, do all these candidates come to the hall and write this examination? No. I would say half of how many have applied for this examination come into the hall and write this examination, because you need to have a thorough preparation regarding the same. Otherwise, once you enter the hall, at the first hour, you have a general studies paper one, and then you have a CSAT paper. Again, this 2 hours, if you don't know anything regarding the same, you're going to sweat it out. You're just going to come out of the hall and say like, what I have prepared nothing. What I am to do next? Okay, you would have all sort of questions coming in front of you. So again, you are in a dilemma. That is why many of the candidates who apply for the same do not come up and write this examination. So if you don't come up to the examination hall and write this examination, then it is not considered as a valid attempt. Okay, only when you write this examination coming into the exam hall, then you are taken into one single attempt. Okay, only if you write it out. If you don't come up to the hall, it's okay, your chance is not gone. Okay, so accordingly, that is the numbers which we count on, because serious preparation needs to be there for UPSC civil service prelims. That is why I say half of the persons only turn up for this examination who are really prepared for the same. Okay, because they don't want to lose out. That's the only thing. Okay, so say hardly half of how many apply, half of them come up and write this examination. Okay, so accordingly, we need to discuss how many chances are there. Okay, so what is the age on you should be writing the civil service prelims exam? If you ask me, that is 21 years of age. Okay, once you attain 21 years, you are eligible to write civil service prelims examination. And again, if you are a final year degree growing student as well, you can write this examination. And you need to mention your graduation marks. It can be 45% or more. Okay, minimum is 45% and more. That is taken into consideration by UPSC, but you need to undergo 3 years from a recognized university system. Okay, that also is mentioned by UPSC. You can undergo the same within 1 year, 2 year time. If that is there, that is not recognized by UPSC at any cost of time. It has to be 3 full year course recognized by done through a recognized university. That is only taken into consideration. Okay, so there are 3 categories which are available right now. One is general category. Okay, you know, the majority of the persons who belong to the general category, they are given 6 attempts. Okay, 6 attempts, or say up to 32 years of age, they are allowed to write this examination. Okay, 6 attempts, or till they attain the age of 32, they can write this examination. Then when it comes to OBC, other backward caste, that is say Muslims, Christians, Parsis, and other minorities which comes into consideration, they have a chance of say 9 attempts, and till the age of 35 they can write this examination. 9 attempts and till they attain the age of 35. But again, the OBCs who are in the creamy layer, they have only 6 attempts. Okay, if you only belong to the non-creamy layer, that is your annual income should be less than 450 or up to 4,50,000, and when you stay in say around 1,500 square feet house, that is mentioned in the notification. When you come into that category only, you are given 3 more attempts. Non-creamy layer in OBC. Otherwise, you are a general candidate only when it comes to a OBC, and you would be given only 6 attempts. But if you belong to a non-creamy layer category, you are given 3 more attempts and you can attempt the same till the age of 35. Okay, understood? Yeah. Then third is SC/ST. You can write, if you belong to an SC/ST category, you can write this examination till you attain the age of 37. Okay. So that is the age limit which you get. Right now, there is an EVS system, that is economically weaker section in general category. That criteria is also mentioned. That is like less than 1,000 square feet house, annual income of less than 2,50,000. If you belong to the same category, you are given 3 more attempts in economically weaker section in general category. So again, you come up to that OBC rank. Only when you have this criteria with you, you would be given 3 more attempts. That has come up recently only. Okay. Okay. So understood about the attempts of UPSC. Clear? Right? Now we go on to the like 3 stages of UPSC preparation, civil service preparation. First is preliminary examination. Okay. UPSC prelims examination that happens in the month of say May, June. Okay. You have 2 papers for the same. General Studies paper 1, that is GS paper 1. Then second paper is CSAT, Civil Service Aptitude Test. Okay. Then second stage, once you write this examination, you have your like results would be out in 1.5 months time. Okay. Once the results are out, you write the mains examination, you qualify for the second stage, and you write the mains examination in the month of say if it's in June, July, August, September. Okay. So you hardly have 3 months time for writing your mains examination. Okay. That comes in the month within 3 months time. So again, if you qualify again in your mains, then you have an interview in front of you. The third stage is interview. Okay. That is of course 275 marks led interview panel. Okay. Interview marking system is out of 275. Okay, where you are considered not only for IAS, IPS, forest and foreign service, but all other departments taken together. That is 24 all India services, all gazetted post only, not a small post. Okay, that is group A to B gazetted posts are given to you through the board, UPSC panel. Okay, these are the 3 stages which you need to understand once you're going through for UPSC civil service. Okay, first is your preliminary, then is your mains examination, third is your interview. Okay, so when you're competing for the same, you need to know how many vacancies are available, right? So can you say how much vacancies can be available in 1 year time for you to compete for the same examination? It's hardly 800 posts. Okay, it used to be around 1,500. You are reporting more of the posts, but in a all India span, you have almost 800 posts available in all India service, and you compete for the same every year. 800 posts all over India. Okay, it is like sometimes 780, at times it is 765. It goes down, it comes down, but on an average you can take in 800. Okay, approximately. Okay, so when it comes to this post taken together, when you write this examination, if 5 lakh persons write this examination at the first stage, that is preliminary, last 2 years how many got into the second stage was really embarrassing. The numbers are say 10 to 12% of how many have wrote this examination. So say if 5 lakh candidates have wrote this examination, 12,000 to 15,000 or up to 20,000 qualify for the second stage. Okay, 12,000, 15,000 or 20,000. That's the approximate figures available. Go to the second stage, that is mains examination. Okay, in this 20,000, only say 2,000 to 2,500 go to the last level, that is interview stage. And out of this 250, 800 are taken for consideration for all India service. So you are really squeezed out. Okay, only the creamy ones, only the most proficient ones, only the unique ones who have that ability to withstand all this three stages go and emerge as winners and become civil service officers. Okay, so that again is conveyed from my part. Okay, now we go on to the preliminary syllabus part. Okay, preliminary syllabus. Just note down UPSC civil service prelims. I will share a PPT also with you. Just subjects മാത്രം note ചെയ്ത് വെച്ചാൽ മതി. Don't write it in detail. Preliminary examination first paper is called General Studies paper 1. Okay, you have 100 questions and 2 marks are being awarded for this subjects. Okay, which all subjects which you are dealing in the same, if you ask me, one is say Indian Constitution, then Indian history, bracket we write medieval, ancient and modern history taken together, then physical geography and Indian geography combined together. Okay, Indian economy as a paper. Okay, environment and ecology taken as one single paper. Art and culture taken as one single paper. International relations taken as one single paper. Then science and technology taken as one single paper. Then all the national and international current affairs taken together is your 9th paper. That is all the current affairs of all these 8 papers taken together is your 9th paper. Okay, so here the thing is you need to be an all-rounder in all these subjects to get a cutoff mark. The last year's cutoff mark was around 105. Okay, so here when you are awarded 2 marks, when you write a wrong question, 0.6 is your negative marking system as well. 0.6 is your negative marking system. If you write a correct answer, you get 2 marks. But when you go with a wrong answer, your marks are lessened with 0.66. So suppose you get 50 correct answers, 15 to 200. And if say you go with 20 wrong answers, 0.66 into 20. Okay, and the correct answers, how total value, and wrong answers total value taken together is your cutoff mark. That is, you never know what is the cutoff mark. Once all the interview process has been done, then the UPSC furnishes the cutoff mark for that year. Okay, but say when the preliminary examination is over, when you find your name in the mains list, you note like how many marks you have got in this prelims, and naturally you qualify. But till then no one knows what is the cutoff mark for the first paper. Okay, till the interview process gets over, then only UPSC furnishes it in its official website. That is the norm. Okay, so that is your cutoff scheme for the first paper. This is an objective type questionnaire. Okay, 4 options would be given and 1 question would be given. 4 options where you have to mark 1 and 1 question. Okay, so you have to be really thinking it out if I am marking the correct answer. If you mark a wrong answer, then of course your marks is gone. Okay, you hardly have 2 minutes time to analyze one question and put a tick in one single option. That is the option which is given to you. Again, you need to understand that you can't be really overconfident. You have to think it out. You can't overthink as well. You don't have much time in order to do so. So 2 minutes time, that is the available option in front of you for one single question. Okay, 2 hours, you need to choke down 60 to 70 correct answers, lessen your negative questions. That is, you should not be going for wrong answers. Say if you write 60, again 30 are wrong, then you lose out. Okay, say if you are correct with 60 answers, you negative should be say wrong wrong questions and wrong answer should be less than 10, or say maximum up to 12 to 15. That's all. Then you are on the safest zone. If it is more than 10 questions which are coming up on a wrong with a wrong answer, then you are losing out your one single year for the same. So only the correct one you need to choose it out, and wrong ones you need to lessen that out. Then you are in the race to go for the second stage, that is mains examination. Okay, now second is your civil service aptitude test paper. Okay, there you have 80 questions and 2.5 marks. Again a negative system of 0.66. Okay, so here the portions are say mental ability questions, where you have time related problem, age related problem, speed related problem, train related problem, pipes and cistern, average, ratio, proportion. Okay, simple interest, compound interest, all the basic things that you have learned. HCM, LCM, okay, highest common factor, lowest common factor, which you have learned during your 10th and 12th level. But it's an applied mathematics thing that is being asked in UPSC preliminary examination, because you have IIM guys, IIT guys, civil service officers, NIT guys who are competing with you for this examination. So it can't be a very simple affair over there. It would be thought-provoking mental ability questions which are asked in this preliminary CSAT paper. So again, what you know has to be depicted out. What you don't know, lessen that out in CSAT as well. Okay, so first your mental ability, second is your say verbal and non-verbal reasoning. Say questions related to directions, questions related to blood relation, question related to seating arrangement, coding, decoding, syllogism, okay, number series, calendar wise questions, bar diagram related questions, pie chart related questions. Okay, such questions are asked in verbal and non-verbal reasoning. Then you have a reading comprehension passage, that is almost 26 questions can be asked from reading comprehension. You have a short reading passage, and you have say 6 or 5 questions which are asked from the passage. You need to understand the question, go to the same passage and come up with the right answer which you feel is right. Okay, but again here if you go with the students who are really weak in maths, verbal and non-verbal and mental ability, go for logical reasoning. That is a wrong thing which you're committing over there, because you feel that out of this 26 reading comprehension passage, as I am very good in English, I have very high marks in English, I'm confident that this is the correct answer which is there in front of me. You can't be saying the same, because UPSC's answer keys differ a lot when it comes to reading comprehension passages. So my sincere advice, if you reach up to that level, is uh, what you know in mental ability. Say if you have 10 questions where you are confident about 5 questions, write it down. If you are very confident again in non-verbal reasoning you have 10 questions, you are very confident in 5 areas, you write it down. Then out of 26, go for 15 or 16 reading comprehensions which you feel is which you feel I am really confident of. Leave the rest of the questions. If you are going and attempting the same, a lot of time is gone for reading comprehension, and if the answer keys differ, again your marks is loosened out. Okay, then again you have decision making, yes or no related questions, that is there in the system, but during the current 3 to 4 years such questions are not being asked by UPSC. Okay, but still you have to prepare with the same. Then again it's a qualifying paper, you need to like make 28 questions correct in order to qualify this CSAT paper. Then only your first paper is evaluated. Okay, your first paper, that if you qualify with 28 marks in the CSAT paper, your first general studies paper are counted for consideration. Okay, so again CSAT paper you need a qualifying mark, and CSAT you need to have a cutoff mark. Okay, understood? Any doubts regarding the same till now? If anyone has a doubt, you can ask me. No means I can move ahead. Okay, CSAT is a qualifying paper. If you don't qualify with 28 correct answers, your first paper is not evaluated. And again, in your first paper, you need to have a separate cutoff as well. Okay, clear? So, general studies paper 1 and CSAT. Then you are going to your mains exam pattern. Okay, if you are qualified enough, if you are very diligent, okay, if you are really lucky, if you are really studied hard, then you move on to the second stage, that is UPSC mains examination, that is held within 3 months time. Okay, so as I said, preliminary question paper is just objective type. Then you are going on to the mains examination, which is really descriptive type. Okay, descriptive, that is you have to write a lot and lot and lot in order to get the required marks. Okay, again you have a cutoff mark, but that is not mentioned by UPSC. Okay, every year they fix up with certain percentage which they feel is the qualifying mark, and if you get that mark with all your papers combined together, then you reach up to your third level, that is interview level. Okay, so can I move to the second stage? Any doubts regarding preliminary exam papers, system, qualifying marks, anything you can ask me. Gopika Lakshmi, Gauri, Harisha, Meghnamni, Mohammad Ibrahim, any of you who have a doubt, you can ask me. No issues. Clear? Okay, just say it out. At least I need to hear from some of you. Are you clear about the same? Have you understood? Chat box il ittalu madi. Ellavaru ille?
Yes, sir.
Okay, are you there online? Everyone is there, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay, fine. So second is your mains examination syllabus. Okay, so I would move on with say qualifying papers. Okay, first you have literature based paper, that is according to the Constitution of India, 26 official languages are taken into consideration for literature subjects. Okay, so this paper of course again can be found in your optional papers as well. This is like if you become a collector, if you're working in Kerala or say in Tamil Nadu or say in Telangana, they are just assessing like if you have to write this report in your regional language, how proficient you are into writing this in a regional kind of a manner? Are you precise? Are you knowledgeable about the same? Okay, are you shortening it out? Are you clear and crisp about the same? Just to know how potent, how much potential you have regarding the same, just to analyze how clear are you, how strong are you in expressing your terms in very simple and crisp manner. This paper is put into practice. Okay, so your literature paper, where you can choose any of your literature subjects. So if you are from Kerala, if you are a CBSE candidate, if you don't Malayalam, if you don't know Malayalam, you can opt for Hindi paper and write it as a qualifying paper. Again, if you are from Tamil Nadu or Karnataka, you are very fluent in your mother tongue, then you can opt for Kannada or Tamil for that matter. Okay. So once you take that literature subject as a qualifying paper, then you are asked certain questions related to the same subject only from the textbook manner itself. That is precise writing, grammar, summarizing a thing in a very short manner. Such kind of a questions are asked. It is a 300 marks question paper where you have to score 75 marks. Okay, 70 to 75 would do. And then you qualify for the second qualifying paper, that is your English qualifying paper. Again, I am not saying that language is a barrier to become a civil servant. If you don't know English, that doesn't mean that you can't become a collector. Okay, it's an all India service. Again, if you go to the states of Bihar, Madhya Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh, and many other states, all the candidates there are very thorough in Hindi rather than in English. But once they write their examination in Hindi medium itself, once they become the collector, they have a basic knowledge about English language. Then they have the translators available who can write it down for them. Okay, so this is not a thing like it is very important to know English. Of course, it is a thing which has to be there in your armory so that you can become a very efficient administrative officer. Language is a global thing, right? English language is a global thing. So if you have that power of English language within you, that is very good enough for you to attain a very high successful career. So here again, what is assessed is your capability in the language, how you express the same in very few words, how crisp and precise you are. So again, precise grammar, short summarizing, all these things are put into picture. And out of 300, again, you need to score 70 to 75 in this paper again. Okay. So these two are qualifying papers when it comes to mains examination. Okay. Here, only thing which is taken into consideration is these papers do not come up at the first level of examination. What you write in examination is general essay paper, then GS 1, 2, 3, 4, then your optional subjects, and in between you have this qualifying papers. But once you write the whole 9 papers, then first what is taken into consideration is your qualifying papers. They check it out. If you don't have that required qualifying marks, then your other papers are not taken into evaluation and you again lose out. Okay, but till now there haven't been any reports saying that persons have not qualified in this regional language or English qualifying paper. It's very simple. Okay, you don't need to have much of practice or say examination pattern to succeed in this paper. Okay, but at least we can't take it very lightly as well. Okay, just a session where you practice this is also good enough. Okay, so again, once you compete with these two papers, you have a general essay paper. Okay, so in your childhood days, you might have written essays about 250 words, 150 words, 300 words. Have any of you written 300 words essay in your school days? 300 words. Say if you are to write a 250 words essay and if you are given a A4 size paper, how many pages you need you require in order to write a 250 words essay? Can someone say? A4 says paper front and back. How many papers do you need in order to write a 250 words essay? For you, it's a very simple question that I asked. Is a trigonometry base ചെയ്തിട്ടോ okay algebra base ചെയ്തിട്ടുള്ള ഒരു question അല്ല. It's a very simple thing, right? No one has written an essay till now. I believe if you have gone through the 10th standard examination, definitely you have an essay to be written in English. പറയോ എത്ര A4 പേപ്പേഴ്സ് വേണ്ടി വരും ഫ്രണ്ട് ആൻഡ് ബാക്ക്? കമോൺ ചാറ്റ് ബോക്സിൽ ഇടൂ. കേൾക്കുന്നില്ലേ? ആർ യു ഏബിൾ ടു ഹിയർ മീ? ഹലോ? ഹലോ?
Yes, sir.
ഓക്കെ, എത്രയായിരിക്കും? 1.5 എടുത്തോളൂ. ഒരു പേപ്പർ ഫുള്ളും അതിന്റെ അടുത്ത പേജിന്റെ ഹാഫും. ഓക്കെ, ബട്ട് ഹിയർ ഇൻ UPSC ജനറൽ essay പേപ്പർ ഓൾമോസ്റ്റ് നിങ്ങൾക്ക് 6.5 പേജ് അല്ലെങ്കിൽ 8 പേജസ് ഒരുമിച്ച് അങ്ങനെ ഓരോ പേജായിട്ട് വിട്ട് എഴുതുകയാണെങ്കിൽ 8 പേജസ് അല്ലെങ്കിൽ 6.5 പേജസിൽ 1200 വേർഡ്സിന്റെ essay എഴുതേണ്ടി വരും. ഓക്കെ, that is here again your word counting is not taken into consideration. Okay, 1200 വേർഡ്സ് എഴുതിയിട്ടുണ്ടോ എന്നല്ല UPSC പരിശോധിക്കുക. 125 മാർക്സിന്റെ 2 സെക്ഷൻസ് ഉണ്ട്. ഓക്കെ, കറണ്ട് അഫയേഴ്സ് ബേസ് ചെയ്തിട്ടുള്ള കോമൺ ആയിട്ടുള്ള ഒരു ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻ ആണ് ജനറൽ എസ്സേക്ക് ചോദിക്കുക. ഡു യു തിങ്ക് ഹെൽത്ത് ഈസ് വെൽത്ത് ക്രിട്ടിക്കലി എക്സാമിൻ? ഓക്കെ, അതേ സമയത്ത് they would ask you കോവാക്സിൻ or കോവിഷീൽഡ് is vaccination a remedy for COVID-19? Clearly explain. Okay, India's ISRO problems, privatization, is it good enough for the space and technology arena of India? Critically examine. Okay, say WHO's norms regarding COVID-19 has been successful. Critically examine. So different types of questions under the sun can be asked by UPSC in general essay paper, where you need to be clear, crisp about this subject, the updation, the problems, the solution for the same, and write it down in 1200 words. Here again and again I am stressing it out. It is not an evaluation of you have written it out in 1200 words. That is not going to be the point of view. Your content for the same, how well you have explained all the things taken together in this said time frame and say in that papers is what is really counted. Okay, if you come up with a very good answer, then out of 10, out of 12 you are awarded 6. Okay, that is a maximum mark which you get in this general essay paper. If it is a very good one, again it can go up to 7 or 8, not more than that. Okay, so general essay paper, it is of 250 marks. Section A and B 125, 125. You can choose out of 4 questions, 1 question which you feel I can thoroughly answer. You can choose 1. Okay, and write it down in your best possible manner. And if you write a very good answer with a very good, say, body, with a slogan, with a jargon, with a problem, with a solution, and justify the same with a proper ending, then you are awarded say 6 to 8 marks out of 12 or 10. Okay, based on your presentation. So again, that is 250 marks. Then comes your GS paper 1. Okay, which you are studied in prelims. Few of the subjects are combined in GS paper 1. That is Indian history is there. Okay, Indian geography is there. World geography is taken. Okay, world geography. Then world history is taken into consideration. Okay, then Indian society, this paper is included. Indian philosophy is included. Problems related to women's in India, that is being discussed. Okay, art and culture, India's tradition is taken into consideration. All these papers taken together is your general studies paper 1 in your mains examination. Okay, all the subjects which I said right now includes GS paper 1. So if you ask me how a question comes up in this GS paper 1, suppose it is say related to world geography, they can ask you a question: why industries are based on coastal zones mostly than in territorial zones? Critically examined. Why sugarcane is concentrated more in southern India right now rather than in northern states of India? Why feminization of agriculture has happened in India? Why not men flock? Okay, so ആ രീതിയിലുള്ള ഒരു question. Then say Buddhism and Jainism has been the religions of India which is endemic to India, which has Indian origin. How have they flourished? Are they still persistent? Do they add to our culture? Critically examine. ഈ രീതിയിലുള്ള തിങ്കിങ് പ്രൊവോക്കിംഗ് രീതിയിലുള്ള ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻ ടൈപ്പ് ആയിരിക്കും നമുക്ക് മെയിൻസ് എക്സാമിനേഷൻ എഴുതേണ്ടി വരിക. നോട്ട് സേ 4 ഓപ്ഷൻ കൊടുത്തു അതൊന്നൊന്ന് ടിക്ക് ചെയ്യുക എന്നുള്ളതല്ല, എല്ലാ പോയിന്റ്സും ഇൻക്ലൂഡ് ചെയ്ത് എഴുതേണ്ടി വരും. അപ്പോൾ പ്രിലിംസിന്റെ ടെക്സ്റ്റ് ബുക്ക് നമുക്ക് റെഫർ ചെയ്യാം, മെയിൻസിന് ഈ പറയുന്ന പോയിന്റ്സ് എഴുതാൻ വേണ്ടി ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻസിനായിട്ട് കുറച്ച് പോയിന്റ്സ് റെഫർ ചെയ്ത് എഴുതാം. ഓക്കെ, പിന്നെ മാഗസീൻസ് അതൊക്കെ വരുന്ന GS പേപ്പർ 1-ലല്ല, കൂടുതലും ഉപയോഗിക്കേണ്ടി വരിക GS പേപ്പർ 2, 3-ലൊക്കെയാണ്. കറണ്ട് അഫെയർ ബേസ് ചെയ്തിട്ടുള്ള ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻസ് ആയിരിക്കും. ഓക്കെ, അപ്പോഴാണ് നമ്മൾ ന്യൂസ് പേപ്പേഴ്സ് വായിച്ചത് മാഗസീൻസ് വായിച്ചതും കൂടിയിട്ട് ഈ പറയുന്ന GS 2, 3 പേപ്പേഴ്സിലേക്ക് ഉപയോഗിക്കുന്നത്. ഓക്കെ, 1-ലേക്ക് സ്റ്റാറ്റിക് സബ്ജക്ട്സ് ആയതുകൊണ്ടാണ് കറണ്ട് അഫയേഴ്സ് അത്ര ഇല്ല എന്ന് പറയുന്നത്. ഓക്കെ, സബ്ജക്ട് വൈസ് ആയിട്ടുള്ള ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻസ് ആണ് കൂടുതലും ചോദിക്കാൻ സാധിക്കുക. ബട്ട് ഒരു വൈഡ് പെർഫറി ഈ രീതിയിലൊക്കെയാണ് ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻസ് വരിക. ഓക്കെ, why Indus Valley has been considered as first civilization point in India? Critically examined. Okay, has religion flourished in Indus Valley civilization? Critically evaluate. Can you say town planning has happened in Harappan civilization? Critically examined. Okay, അങ്ങനെ പലതരം questions can be asked from a mains point of view. That is how it is unique when it comes to mains examination, when taken into consideration a prelims point of a question. Okay, here you have to be really precise as well. 20 questions can be asked. All these questions are mandatory. Again, a strategy is there. It is a 250 marks question paper. If you can score up to if you target 150 in this question paper, you can come up to say 100 or 110 or 120. That is quite enough. Not more than that is given by UPSC, or most of the candidates come up with almost 150. That's all. Not more than that in 250 marks papers. So that is your GS paper 1. GS paper 2 is Indian polity, governance, social justice, and international relations, international bodies and institutions taken together as one single paper. Okay, which you have studied in your prelims. More than that is asked as a question in mains level. Okay, say Aadhaar issue is a issue which can be taken as a right to, which is a dilution of right to privacy in India. Is that a inherence to fundamental rights in India? Critically examined. Okay, Shabarimala temple issue where prohibition of women is talked about. How is it related to fundamental rights, Article 24 of the Indian Constitution? Okay, is it a violation of Article 15? Okay, how is it validated under Article 15? Any type of question can come up. Okay, so then say Muttalaq issue. Okay, then say now right now 18 years of marriage, when you like when the ladies or the gents attain the age of 18, they can choose their own religion. How is it going to change the Indian cultural fabric? Critically evaluate or examine. Such questions can be asked. Okay, India China recent standoffs in Pangong Lake. Critically evaluate. Such type of broad questions can be asked when it comes to mains examination. SARC had been a forefront in India's neighborhood policy, but right now BeamStack has taken that position, BRICS has taken that position. Why so? Critically examine. Such kind of a broad, wide range of question where you have to write about the past, the present, the current updation, plus justify that. Okay, then only you come up with a very good answer. So again, GS2, 250 marks. Indian polity, governance, social justice, international relations, and institutions taken together is your GS paper 2, 250 marks. Okay, then GS paper 3, it is disaster management, science and technology, environment and ecology. Okay, internal security of India taken together. Okay, all this paper taken together is your GS3 paper. Okay, science and technology, Indian economy, environment and ecology, disaster management, internal security of India. Okay, these papers taken together is your one single GS3 paper, 250 marks again. Okay, then comes your GS4 paper, that is ethics. Okay, that has been included recently. Okay, very recently, say way back in after 2010, 13. Okay, this is a paper where your moral values as a civil service officer is examined. What was your moral upbringing? What is your emotional co-balance? Okay, what is your emotional intelligence? Why are you inferring for getting into civil services? Okay, have you that guts or that sacrificing mentality in you? How broad you think, how sentimental you are, how approachable you are. To examine all these things, case studies are being provided. Okay, case studies are from, say, taken from IIMs. Okay, Indian Institute of Management, from Harvard universities. Certain case studies are put forward, and how you write that answer is what UPSC takes into consideration. Okay, your moral values, your understanding, your capability as a civil service officer is examined through that answers itself. Okay, so here accordingly there is not a wrong answer and a right answer, but say your judgmental aspect, your approach, okay, your thinking capacity, everything is viewed through your answers. So here how you study this paper is you go on with principles and moral values and certain basic aspects of ethics in one single through certain books. Okay, there is a book available called Lexicon, through which certain moral values are discussed in depth. Then say viewpoint of administrative thinkers, and then case studies taken together. That is how you prepare for your ethics altogether. Okay, then again it is 250 marks, only case studies are asked. Then it is your optional subject. So say around 42 plus optional subjects are there. Literature subjects almost 26 are there. Then say engineering, physics, maths, law, sociology, geography, history, anthropology, philosophy, all these subjects taken together is your optional subject periphery. You can choose one optional subject, and you have two parts for the same, 250, 250, part A and part B. It's a 500 marks question. But again, when you are preparing for your mains optional subject, you have to think if this optional subject fit into my scheme of things. I have a mentor who can guide me in my optional subjects. When I am writing this optional subject, I need to have 100 plus hours of class regarding the same on how I should approach this optional subject. And when I am writing out these questions, okay, my answers are critically evaluated by optional subject expert and how far I have gone through in my optional subject. Okay, because once you get say 100 in your say you get 100 in each of your GS papers and a general essay paper, then almost 720 plus is your general say mains cutoff mark, 720 to 750. So once you have scored say 500 in all this GS papers taken together with your general essay paper combined, then you have to score 250 plus in your optional subject in order to reach up to that interview level. Okay, so again here you need to be really choosy. If it's it's a Malayalam literature paper, you don't have much of competition because only Malayalis write this and Malayali professors evaluate this paper. That is not so simple, but at least only few write and you have very less competition regarding the same. But if you're taking public administration, 10,000 to 20,000 candidates take up public administration, Indian philosophy for that matter. Sociology, the syllabus is really less and you can compete for GS to general essay, ethics paper with your sociology preparation. Certain questions related to the same can be asked in these papers. So you have an added advantage when you take sociology as an option over there. Okay. So simultaneously, when you take this paper also into consideration, in mains you have 1,750 marks paper. Okay. Out of which general category needs to score around 720 plus. It goes up to 750. Out of 1,750, you need to score at least 750 in order to qualify for the interview stage. Okay. So OBC at least 20 to 30 marks can be lessened. That is their cutoff mark. But again, when it comes to SC/ST, there's a huge variation. Around 100 to 80 marks are lessened out of 750. Okay, when that is lessened, that is their cutoff mark. Okay, they get an exemption over there. So once you get this mark, then you're going on to the third stage, that is interview stage. Okay, interview is out of 275 marks. Okay, so again, interview, once you reach up to that interview level, there is say 5 to 8 member panel. UPSC chairman is there who has an experience about 10 to 15 years working in public sector enterprises. Then say all other board members who have at least 8 to 7 years experience working as administrative officers or who are retired from public sector enterprises. A psychologist would be there, of course, in that panel, who is looking onto your body language, your perceptions altogether. Then if you are taken Malayalam as your option for writing the mains and attending the interview, a regional language expert would be there. Okay. And say they can ask you any sort of questions, say your mains, optional papers, your upbringing, why you are choosing civil services, just to test your emotional balance. Okay. Your thought provoking capacities, various cases can be put forward. Okay, various types of irritating questions can be asked on how to see how balanced you are, and to judge your willpower, your capacity as a civil service officer, certain questions are there asked. But say if 10 to 12 questions are asked, if you're bluffing it out, then you lose out. You have to be really sincere in what you say and what you explain. Say if you know, say 5 to 3 out of this 10, but you explain that in a very proficient manner, that is also quite enough. Okay, but at the same time, when you are attending the interview board, you have to have a clear eye contact with the panel over there. You should be really dressed up in a very good manner with light color dresses which are not so expensive. Okay, personal grooming regarding your hair, your beard, everything is important. Then perfect eye contact when you speak out is important. Say taking out the kerchief while saying many things can show that you're nervous. Okay, sweating it out. Laughing at a very greater volume can create problems. Okay, so all this body languages and say your attributes when you come up to that interview panel are examined. Okay, so out of 275, if you get say 150 plus, 180 is mainly taken into consideration, 150 plus. So once you score that, you can be considered for IAS, IPS, forest and foreign service. Okay, so here again, not many vacancies are available. In all India level, say 180 would be the seats, 180 to 200 plus, that is available for IAS officers. You have to compete with the same. IPS would be 10 to 30 positions less than what we have for IAS. Forest and foreign, it's approximately 78 to 80 positions that are available. And rest is for all India service, railway, revenue, okay, telecom, engineering service, education services, all the industries taken together, all India, all central government sectors which you are considered for. So if you score less than what is required for becoming an IAS, IPS or forest foreign service officer, then the board has to consider that again, if not for IAS and IPS, you can be considered for all this all India services. If they find it okay, then you can get at least one service out there. Okay, otherwise, if you lose out, then you have to again come up for your prelims, mains, and interview preparation the next coming year. Okay, so that is how the system of UPSC goes into from phase to phase. Okay, that is prelims, mains, and interview. Okay, if you don't get into any of the services right now, what UPSC is doing is they are sending your resumes out to certain companies, Maharatna, Miniratna, and private sector companies. You have a greater chance. They might call you because you are the best brains available in India. That is why you are reached up to this level. Then if you prepare thoroughly, at least your prelims manner, you can qualify for CAPF assistant command and examination. That syllabus is almost similar to what we have in prelims. SSC CGL tier 1 examination, 1/4 of all the subjects which you are covered in this comes into picture for SSC CGL tier 1. Living, algebra, trigonometry, and many other parts, chemistry and physics. Rest everything is there in UPSC prelims portion. And when SSC CGL tier 1 and 2, like again, if you're going to write your mains examination, that is not so competent or high value system of SSC CGL, that you have to write in say 120 or 130 certain current affair related questions can be asked. But UPSC, as I said, general essay and GS, all the papers together, you have to really compete it. Okay, that is not there in SSC CGL. So that examination you can go for. KS, Kerala Administrative Service, where only the Keralites can compete for. That opportunity is there for you. All India, say all the states, few of the states in India have their civil service cadre. Again, you can apply for the same. Okay. So all kind of central and state-led examination, don't have to prepare for anything new. Everything is covered in the same. Only when you are writing for that specific examination, you need to take in a question bank and attempt. Rest everything is covered in UPSC syllabus. That is why UPSC preparation is quite unique, and it is called the mother of all examination when it comes to India. Okay, it's the toughest, say second or third most examination in the world, because UN Civil Service is there in the forefront. Then of course second or third position is of Indian Civil Services. Okay, some say it is of sixth or seventh, but when we take into consideration, it is the second or third more toughest examination in the world. Okay, so that makes it unique. So in order to prepare for the same, what you need is, you need to understand the syllabus which I told you right now. Then you need to see, because all these questions in your preliminary and mains angle, current affairs is focused right now after the 2010 syllabus upgradation by Kothari Commission. Okay, once that has been done, right now when you are preparing for your subjects also, you have to prepare for current affairs simultaneously. So how to prepare for current affairs related to all these subjects taken together, you are learning in the second half. Okay, then uh, like you are going through with the basics of each subject, how to go with the preliminary kind of objective elimination system when you are practicing your questions in different subject, that is called as MCQ questions, multiple choice questions. And at the toughest level of examination, you have your subject related questions and current affair related questions asked simultaneously. Okay, so again, these two examinations would be held when you are going to write this examination in the real scenario. So we will give you certain practice regarding MCQ right now. And once you have made it, uh, like once you are Once we feel that you have reached up to that level and you are equally efficient in writing the national test series, then we will provide you a chance to write or attempt a few questions with regards to national test series level questions as well, where current affairs and conceptualized questions both are asked simultaneously. Okay, and current affairs questions differently on to know like how a current affair question can come up in a subjective manner and in a broad perspective. Okay, these things also we will focus when you're preparing for the same. How to write a general essay with all the substances taken together. Okay, how to write a GS related answer, what all things we need to bring that into picture to write a very effective general studies essay and a general essay, that also we will be discussing in detail. Okay, then it's a foundation thing, but at least when you are going through all these subjects and you find yourself very competent enough to come up to that ranks, then we will help you with say a timetable preparation, because lot of things has to be learned. So how you categorize the same with weightage given to different subjects, which all topics and which all questions which come up in UPSC prelims till this date, you have to be focused regarding the same. So that type of again training would be given to you if you are going along with this batch, and then you come up with then you rise up to prelims come mains batch once you attain that age. Okay, so if you find that okay with you, so if some of you are in your +2 level, after 1 year of coaching, if you find that you're fit enough for prelims come mains batch, you can definitely join our weekend batch and update your knowledge and your proficiency in the same. Okay, once you feel that okay, again I need to focus on the basics and go on with the foundation thing, then I would prepare myself only in the third year. You can repeat yourselves in the second and third year. When second year we will be focusing on mains writing skills, and third year GD interview and other related process. Okay, so this is what I have to discuss in class 1 introductory class. Okay, so where we have discussed about how, which is the body, how many candidates apply for the same, what are the norms through which you apply. Okay, what are the criteria through which you go in, the syllabus of prelims mains, and say how an interview goes on. Everything we have discussed in length. Okay, second class, say we will be dealing about current affairs preparation for civil services. Okay, so I hope like today's session, I am winding it out, because right now you need to know about the syllabus. So regarding what I have taken today, I will share a PPT in WhatsApp group right now after the classes have went off. So I hope like you have an idea of the same. Next class, uh, I need to know how much you have understood about the syllabus. So I would be randomly asking questions to some students about the syllabus, how well you have deciphered the syllabus of UPSC prelims, mains. Okay, interview you can leave out. Rest prelims and main syllabus is what I need you guys to focus right now. Then once you understood the same, we'll go on to the basics of certain subjects which you have to learn in your foundation level. Okay, certain bits of map study in geography, certain concepts in history, timeline, various other things, polity, some other chapters which are very, say, not broad perspective, but a little bit of perspective has to be there from your side. Current affairs preparation for certain related subjects, how to do about the same, how to make a presentation regarding the same. Max also, how not to go with larger formulas but tips and techniques in order to write a question within say 2 minutes time, to attempt a question of max in 2 minutes time, how it is possible. That everything would be learning in due course of time. Okay, so I hope I am made it clear regarding the syllabus. Any doubts or general ideas or questions or anxieties which you have regarding the same, you can ask me right now. Okay, don't feel that it is an unimportant question which I am asking would be a vague question, a foolish, stupid kind of question. Don't worry about anything, because you have to come up with, say, a mistake and then learn through it. I believe in the same. Okay, all my preparation as well in civil service, and say when I was a student also, we are bound to make mistakes. That is okay. But at least all the other questions or anxieties on preparation, on syllabus, what you understand, you just need to put it off. Okay. Any doubts which you have randomly, you can ask me. Right now it's 11:50. So 5 minutes time where I would be answering to your questions simultaneously, separately, uniquely. Anything? Clear? You're clear? Okay. Now, if you can get, go with 10th standard politics book. Okay, I will share certain books which you need to just buy it for your foundation level preparation. Okay, I'll share that materials through via WhatsApp. Okay, that also do buy in certain books. Okay, A4 size books also you need to buy 6 to 7 books. Okay, which you need to write down few of the points which we are discussing, everything you need to write down. Map study, you need to buy India outline and world outline maps, at least 20 to 30. A4 size paper, at least 1 to 2 square. Okay, school Oxford School Atlas, that is also important. Pen 3 to 5 or 6 or a set. Again, you would be writing a lot. That also is needed. Lucent GK or Arihant general knowledge book to get a small idea of how current affairs preparation goes in UPSC civil service. Okay, then you can take an autobiography of certain personalities, that is APJ Abdul Kalam's, say Stephen Hawking's, which you feel you are really motivated with. Autobiography of a person. Okay, you can read that book, and I will give you an exercise. That is how you cultivate a reading habit, and you precise your content in say 100 or 80 minutes, and you have to present the same on a weekly basis within say 80 within say 5 minutes or 10 minutes time. How you go about that, how well you are reading, how fast you are reading. For that we are including this exercise as well. So that also I will suggest few things with you. Next class, when we go with current affairs preparation, then from next class onwards, like after your current affairs class, every week all of you should be presenting your current affairs in a PPT mode in front of me. Okay, in front of me, so that I get an understanding of how well you have acquired the syllabus of UPSC. Okay, that is current affairs taken separately. Okay, so all of you guys, if you don't have a English newspaper at your homes, do go for an e-paper, Hindu, or buy or subscribe to a Hindu newspaper at your homes, because you need one national newspaper in your house daily for your preparation in foundation level. Okay, for your current affairs preparation also, it's quite needed. Okay, so understood the same. Now, if you don't have any doubts, I would ask each one of you to give me a inference of what you have learned. Are you benefited through this today's introductory class? How well you have learned many things? Just give me a say a small feedback regarding the same. Okay, Gopika Lakshmi.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, go
CAC examination set by
on.
UPSC.
Now your voice, can it be little more audible?
Sir, is it audible now?
Yeah, but little more louder. Yeah,
Sir, is it okay now?
yeah. Okay, fine.
Okay. CAC examination is held by UPSC. It is situated in Delhi.
Yeah,
And the
that is okay.
notification
Like, all the things which you understood, I would like to know, like, have you understood that thoroughly?
Okay.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I understood it.
yeah. Okay. Now, you are confident that you can go ahead with the same?
Yeah.
Okay. That also, like, through my class, are you clear about all the systems and norms of UPSC?
Yes, sir, I'm clear.
Yeah. What feedback do you have for this class then? It was
It's
good. It was
yeah,
interesting.
it was informatory.
Okay. Out of 5, how much rating would you give for this introductory class?
3.5.
3.5. What? Why say 1 mark is lesson then?
Uh, mm, the interaction was a bit less
Okay.
from the students' part.
Fine. Fine. Okay. Fine. Because they are onto that first class, they are very unique about such a thing. Okay. So that is why the interaction was a little bit less, I suppose. Okay. Fine. Thank you. Yeah, Gauri.
Sir,
Yeah, Gauri, പറഞ്ഞോളൂ.
I found out about the 3 stages in prelims, and I know about the syllabus, and got a definite feedback. I got a definite know about the syllabus. What to study, where to start, when to start, and all.
Okay. So you're happy with what has taught
And
today, right?
yes, sir, the parts which are left out while searching have been included by you.
Sorry, I couldn't get you.
Sir, the parts which are left out while searching about civil service
Okay.
was included by you,
Okay.
and that's all, sir.
Fine. Fine then. Thank you. Thank you. Then Harisha.
So,
After hearing
first of all,
all these things, you still feel that yeah, this civil service is my real
sir,
ambition.
can you hear?
Yeah.
Thank you, sir, for taking class. And from this class, I get to know about basics of UPSC exam.
Okay.
And it was good. I get to know stage 1, stage and interview, and a lot of basics.
Okay. Yeah.
I want to give 4.5.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah. Thank you. Then. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Next, Meghana Unni.
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
So the class was really satisfied by me.
Okay.
Sir, I was really informative by the class. I get more and more information about how to face the examination.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel the session to be really interactive.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, in
So,
coming classes, we would make it really interactive because you would have a lot of exercises to be done from your side.
yes, sir.
Okay.
Okay.
So we'll go along with the same. Yeah, thank you for your feedback as well.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Mohammed Ibrahim.
Sir, you are muting yourself. Sir, you muted yourself, sir. Your mic.
Yeah, Mohammed, you can speak. I'm hearing you.
Hello? Hello? Hello?
Yeah, go on.
Yeah, I would give 4.5, sir, for rating. Because I learned about the basics of UPSC and what power we get, etc.
Do you feel that it is attainable?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
With enough hard work and determination, we can.
Okay, fine. That gives me immense pleasure to know about the same. Yeah. Thank you then. Any further clarifications any of you guys have, you can ask me, or can I wind up the class? Okay, fine. Then today's PPT, I'll share it in WhatsApp right now. And certain book lists which you need to purchase also, I am doing it. Okay. In between, I will give you a small exercise. What you can do is, Hindu newspaper, okay, and Hindu newspaper starting from say 25th till next 31st. You have known about the syllabus, right? So from your point of view, understand which is a current affair. Okay, don't include sports in that. Don't include say um business column in that. Leave that and say from first to sixth, second page to sixth page of Hindu. If you find local news also, that also you can leave it off. Other things which you feel that is a current affair, how you can depict a current affair out of it, just prepare few points on the same, like write a subtopic, that is say if a topic is there, government throws a order for COVID-19 action plan, just write a subheading regarding the same, and the points which are discussed in that, bullet points 8 to 10. Okay, accordingly, take in say constitution current affair, history current affair. I'll put it in chat box. Okay, leave out history, you won't be able to. All these subjects taken together which you feel is a current affair, you take it randomly. I'm not saying next class we are again going to discuss about current affairs, but take Hindu paper. Okay, don't take more than 1 hour. okay, choose down at least say 5 to 10 topics out of all the subjects taken together, and you feel that this is a current affair of Indian polity, this is a current affair of environment and ecology, this is a current affair of art and culture, which you feel, just note it down and write it. Okay. And current affairs, if you have like editorials regarding India, China, regarding social issues, few of you just read those editorials, one or two. Okay, one editorial is enough per day, and say what you have understood from the same. Okay, in say 5 minutes time, that is enough. Okay, just to give you an idea of how you can go through and understand the editorial with a very less time frame. Okay, do this two exercises when you're coming up next week. And again, I would ask every one of you to present the syllabus within 5 minutes time. That would be the first exercise. Then we will go with current affairs strategy. Then all those things which you are prepared, put it in Word or PPT format, and you would be presenting it in online. And if it is in offline, you would be coming and showing it to me. Okay, so which is okay. At least make a PPT presentation of the current affairs and syllabus. Okay, syllabus, but I don't need your PPT, but this current affairs I need your PPTs, and I will examine and give you marks accordingly. And how to improve, that you will study in the next coming class. Okay, on current affairs. So thank you everyone. We'll meet up next week on the same time, same day. Yeah, thank you.